on top of the motorhome to show where the solar panel gets hooked up.
Okay, so here we have basically just a positive and a negative feed to go down to our controller that's inside, which we're going to cover in a minute, and from there go to our batteries, right? So on this roof, if Lindsay kind of pans around, we have all this open space. Basically anywhere that we have enough footage to set one down and mount to the roof, we can. And we would just use the same kind of lap sealant that we would do, you know, working on any other thing on the roof. You know, the vent lap seal is the same that we would do on them. So they come with legs. You mount them right to the roof. If you have several of them, they can be daisy chained together, you know, to add power to them, so they can hook to multiple solar panels, so you can get more wattage, more amp hours into your batteries. So very simple. We just run the positive and the negative directly, so that you can see the red on that one, the black on that one. We hook them directly into the first solar panel, and then we just chain them together, kind of like outlets, and then we just add up more power that way. So this one has plenty of space. As you can see, we could probably get, let's see, 1, 2, I'd say easily 4 decent sized ones on here if we wanted to.
That would really last us a long time.
That would help quite a while. And the nice thing about them too is they're not very heavy. We're not adding a massive load to our, you know, our roof. They probably weigh 10 pounds a piece.
Well, that's good to know.
Right. So yeah, very easy to hook up. And if you look at the next motorhome in front of us, same hookup. The black spot on, same hookup. So basically all the new Class C's and stuff that we carry are going to have that hookup on the roof for you. I don't think we carry any that do not. So
yeah.
And then we'll go down inside and we'll look at the controller and we'll look at the battery setup system, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Okay, so here we are inside now.
Okay, so here's our solar controller. Right now it's really not going to do anything because we don't have anything hooked to it. I just turned the battery onto it, so all it's really going to do is just give me a readout. It's not going to do anything right now because it's not actually charging, other than taking the charge from the camper being plugged in. If the solar panel was on there, see how it's flashing right there? No solar panel. So it's showing that it doesn't in fact have one. So if we were just boondocking and not having power coming in, what we would see is the solar panel would be up here and it'd be showing us our battery voltage and, you know, how much amps and volts we're taking. Right now we're not taking any because we don't have a solar panel. We don't have any amp hours coming because we don't have a solar panel. So right now it's just showing us the voltage of the battery because we're not getting a charge from the solar system. This is basically just telling me how much battery voltage I have right now and that I got one battery hooked up.
Okay.
So speaking of batteries, if I drop down right beneath this, and the majority of our motorhomes are going to have these right here. Now some will have, if you get a big Class A, are going to have a big bank of batteries on the outside. This one does not have that. It has a single 12-volt battery underneath. There is room for another that you can hook to that, and I would do it the same way that I mentioned before. I got the main coming in, that's the positive onto the positive. I got a negative to the negative, and I would just take the negative off, put that on the other battery. I would then take a negative jumper and go to there, a positive jumper and go to there, and I would have the most battery capacity I could get out of this unit.
Okay.
There's really not much more you would have to do under here. This always is going to tell you how much battery voltage you have. That's the nice thing, it has a readout. So there are certain things in a camper that don't operate that well once they get below a certain amount of voltage.
Okay.
So we'll close this back up. Now this unit would be a prime one that you would want to get the inverter that we were looking at installed, so you could, say, run your televisions, right? TV's up on here. TVs don't draw a great deal of power, so if I got an inverter that I hooked into my system, and we could easily wire one in for you, I'd be able to run my TV off of it. We could probably also find a way to hook it in to maybe get you an outlet or two. It really depends on how much time. We'd have to look into it first and give you a quote, of course, on how much we could wire up and how much time it would take. But most people go for the TVs. That way, if you're dry camping, and it's raining outside and you got nothing else you can do, and you're at a campground that won't let you run the generator, you can obviously then still run your TVs. You could then hook your DVD player into it if you wanted to, play movies. You know, so the inverter is really good to have, and I said pure sine wave ones because they don't affect nice electronics like TVs, computers, whatever you would put in. If you get one that's not a pure sine wave, it can mess with your fancy electronics.
Well, so there we go. Can't operate the camera today. Well, thank you, Odie, for all the information on the solar panels. If you have questions, don't be afraid to give us a call. Our service guys are always there, willing to help you out. If not, we do have parts guys up here that know a little bit about it too. So 715-355-5500, extension 1214 to get a hold of me, or just ask the receptionist for one of the guys at the service shop. All right? Have a great day. Thanks, guys.